Okay.
Although, Ryan, you'd be the one that would be the least likely to because you're the least controversial.
I don't know.
No, you're the least
I'm the
controversial, Ryan.
optimist.
I mean,
I'm the optimist.
worry about me where it's like, right?
Ray will be here forever. All right, so
Okay.
we're live on Twitch for sure.
Yeah, and I think, let me double check. I think we are now live on.
Let me see. I will check.
No. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
We are live on YouTube. So we had a great intro. We talked about Wet and Wild Wednesdays. Matt is currently showering because he just got home from work. And we talked about both the effectiveness, the efficacy, and the ruthless efficiency of a PDA shower. And again, for those of you scoring at home, that stands for, if you're a male, pits, dick, and ass. You just get those three main components, wash, and you get out real quick if you're in a hurry. Don't recommend doing it all the time. The lady folk don't like that too much. But if you're in a pinch and it is a Wet and Wild Wednesday, you can do things like that and get away with it every now and again.
Do what you got to do.
So that all being said, for those of you that are here for a different kind of PDA, we will not be able to do open mouth kissing either later on. It's just we're too far away, and the video conferencing software that we have, we do not have the package that has enabled that. However, I'm told that we will take the show to VR next year if J Pink has his way. So we'll see what happens there. Okay. It is a question and answer show tonight. We had a fantastic show last week with Eldon from Renew Turf. He had a lot of insightful questions. I felt like we talked a lot, but I think he was so well planned out ahead of time that we were able to dive in, and hopefully that was helpful for people. And if there's topics that came out of that, I think we had a few DMs and things floating around in our Discord server here this week about follow-ups about books to read and or companies to look over and inspect, and different ways of thinking about some of the things that we talked about. It's all cool, and it's all part of the community that we have that you can join. If you're not already a member, you can go to www.patreon.com/burn and return. $4 that can't even buy you a gallon of gas in most parts of this country right now, but you can have access to us. And there's also some higher level stuff and everything like that. All that money goes towards a few different things. I'll run that down real quick for those of you that are new to the show. That supports a big party that we have every year in Louisville, Kentucky, right around the same time as the Equip Expo. We do a couple of days of some fun, some learning, and a big blowout party at the end of the week to kind of just see everybody talk, do a live show like this, and have a great time. Other things, though, that are as important is we do a big fundraiser every year for St. Jude and their research hospital there. This past winter, J Pink, what was our total? 20,000, 21,000, something like that?
Somewhere in there, yeah.
Somewhere in that range. Crazy for a little rickety old show like us that guys like Travis at Budget Lawns love to hate. Here we are. We're doing it again.
Get fucked.
Yeah. I mean, wear the t-shirt, Travis. Just wear it on your video. That's all I want you to do. And finally, scholarships. So we also do scholarships for our Thirsty Thursday scholarship winner. We've had 2 winners thus far. Aldo Beltran, who is one of our very original guests on the show almost 3 years ago, guys. Actually, I was looking at this a couple weeks ago because we're coming up on our 100th show of Burn and Return here in like another 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. Assuming we don't sit anything out, we should be good in the next couple weeks to kick that off. That'll be fun. And then it was 3 years ago this month that we officially started what was Thirsty Thursday and now is Wet and Wild Wednesdays. And it has been an awesome ride. It's been very much, I think, a catharsis for Ray, for Matt, for myself, and for J Pink to put up with all of our shit and really keep us in the loop and moving forward. I can't thank everybody enough for all your support over the years. So it's back to the scholarships real quick. Just this past year, Jason the Turf Kid, who was on here about, when was that, Ray? About a year ago now that Jason came on and did the show, or was it less than that?
It was, I believe it was last year even. It wasn't that long ago. And you know what? I am hoping that Jason the Turf Kid is 21 sooner than not, because I honestly want to have a bourbon with him.
Ah, he's a good soul. He's an old
Okay.
soul in a young body.
Well, I mean, that's just like me, right? Old,
That's
old
true. That's
soul,
true.
young, right?
Young
Because
at heart.
Ryan, I'm ageless, right?
Ah,
I'm
I think
ageless.
you are.
So
I think you are, and so does Sheila. So, yeah. So all those cool things come from that. We don't take a dime of that money and do anything with it ourselves. We're very much into supporting our audience and supporting our industry. Right, this industry has given so much to all of us here and the people that we share this community with. We could never take from it. We can only give back. So thank you for everybody that supported us over these 3 years. It's been kind of it's just been really cool. So with that said, with all the sappy stuff out of the way, here's the way we're going to do this: is we are going to take your questions, and we've had some damn meaty ones already sent to us. If you like talking about beefy backyards, whether they're made of grass or something else, we have some questions that have already been submitted, and we are looking forward to those. So if you don't and haven't submitted one of those yet, fire it into the chat. JPink will log that in. We will take questions up until about 9:50 p.m., and then we'll cut those off. So anything that comes in after that, we'll catalog it. We'll save it for the next episode. We'll jump back into it. But out of respect for the time of everybody here, and also to try and make some room for a little bit of an after show tonight and dive into those videos. I'll tell you, Ray, real quick before we dive in here, I digress one more time, but the most recent Joe Knows Turf that just dropped today on our Burn and Return podcast, that was pretty close. That was one of our, I would say, closest Joe Knows Turf to a after show as it's come, and it couldn't have been two better people. Two better people. So
well,
if you
well,
have,
you know what? No, none other deserving because tell you now, somebody putting plant growth regulator into a water bottle, that is as after show as you can get. And you know what? That kind of shit just wigs me out because, you know, Ryan, that is
Mhm.
exactly why one herbicide that I know about became such a notorious chemical.
Ah,
Okay?
what's
Them
that one?
putting that into a drink bottle.
Which
Ryan,
chemical is that?
paraquat. Paraquat.
Ooh, wowzers. Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
gotta put that.
what moron puts paraquat into a soda bottle? And you know, up until the 1990s, when the EPA required that the paraquat be dyed bright green and have like a rotten egg smell added to it. Do you know what the paraquat
Yeah.
used to look like in the 1980s?
Milk?
Paraquat used to look like no, used to look like Dr. Pepper or Coca-Cola. It was a
Oh,
dark
man.
brown liquid.
I remember hearing a story one time of, people that would fish, 2.5s out of a dumpster at a golf course. This is,
Mm-hmm.
Western Pennsylvania, and
Mm-hmm.
there was a number, probably like, I don't know, half a dozen or so springs in the area, like a natural spring. You can just go fill up water. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the interesting part there was that people would steal these containers and just rinse them out, and they were like 2.5s of like, chlorothalonil or
Wait a
iprodione,
minute. Wait a
propiconazole.
minute.
It's like, what?
Wait a
People are
minute.
dumb.
And no, tell me now, if that happened like in the early 1980s, they might even be fishing out 2.5s for that PMA fungicide.
Ah,
Okay.
I don't know, but let's dive
I
in
mean,
here
because
because oh, go ahead. I'm listening.
yeah, because Ryan, I would
Yes.
imagine that somebody reusing that PMA 20 bottle for something other than fungicide, that would be catastrophic.
Yeah, and you know what? People will push back on that and be like, "Well, it's just I know it, and that's all that matters." It's like, dude, like even if okay, let's think about this real quick. We mentioned in the video about, a kid finding it, drinking it, something awful like that. Hell, even an adult. I also think about first responders, right? So, like, if I go into a garage and there's a fire in that house and I see something that, resembles either piss, 3-day-old piss or some other kind of chemical in a bottle that's just BPA plastic, like, I'm gonna be a little freaked out.
Mm,
And even though that
mhm.
maybe nothing happens, maybe it doesn't, having that kind of doubt and having that kind of like, people that are always assessing a situation, think about the worst possible outcomes and trying to be prepared for them, like, don't put people in that position. It's just, and it'll never happen. Oh, it's that you're just reaching for reasons. Fuck off. Like, just don't do it. Get it. Go on
Yeah.
Amazon, use your own share sale link, and buy a goddamn tip and pour that's going to cost you $20, and put it in that and label what the fuck it is. Okay. Now, see, I'm getting upset. I'm gonna have to start rocking back and forth like Matt was halfway through that Geno's turf segment.
Oh,
All right,
man.
so we are going to dive in here. We have a first question here from Jay. Jay says,
Mhm.
"For a residential lawn, is there something available that attaches to the irrigation to lower the pH of the water? Trying to lower the lawn soil
Mhm.
pH of 8.2 in warm season Bermuda to 419. Adding ammonium sulfate, elemental sulfur, etc. doesn't make sense when the irrigation water is also over 8 pH. The grass is plenty green. This is also to help control fungus with a height of cut of 0.45 inches, so just under a half an inch. So,
Mhm.
Ray, what would your recommendation be here if we want to effectively treat the irrigation water that's north of 8 on the pH scale?
Okay, I'm thinking about dosatron, dosmatic, or Teflon Nixrite injection pumps now. And
Okay.
before you put such a device on your irrigation system, please check with your water department regarding backflow prevention requirements
Mm,
for that
call.
injection pump. And then what I would take you towards is either injection of citric acid solution, or else, Ryan, another good one. And if you use this, you can probably skip applying nitrogen to your lawn, is this product called enfuric or urea sulfate. And what
Okay.
urea sulfate is that is literally sulfuric acid reacted with urea so that the sulfuric acid is no longer going to ignite materials that it comes in contact with.
Mm.
But then be aware that urea sulfate is still a strong acid.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing with all this is I get the premise of wanting to treat the water and everything like that, but you have to know what you're signing up for. I mean, it is a fool's errand to think that you're going to do this for a couple years, and I know that this guy probably understands that this is an ongoing thing and everything like that. But it's heavy duty stuff, and
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, this is just something where you had better know what you're getting into too. And Ryan, I kind of
mhm.
understand why Jay might want to lower his pH as well. He may be
Well, yeah, I mean,
seeing take all
I was
patch.
gonna say that's got to be a take all patch situation, and if you're committed to it, Jay, I'd say go for it. Just, be prepared, have the proper PPE, have the understanding of what you're getting yourself into, and follow Ray's
Mhm.
advice. I don't have to do that on a residential level, so I'll be honest and say I don't know. But
Yeah, well, I'm
yeah.
just kind of like listing off the requirements because I know some municipalities,
Hmm.
if you're going to connect a chemical injection system to your water supply, they literally will require an air gap between the municipal water supply and your irrigation system.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
you know what
you're
an
at
air
that
gap
point.
is? Yeah,
What's
you know what
that?
an air gap is, Ryan?
Mm.
All of your irrigation water has to be discharged into a holding tank, and your municipal water supply is discharged into that tank from a height such that it's impossible for the water to cross-contaminate. I mean, I'm familiar with backflow requirements. I'm also familiar with chemical injection systems for agriculture. So I just thought I'd put that out there. This is not a light endeavor at all.
No, sir. All right. Let's get to Chris. Chris says, I took your guys' advice from the live show on the boob tube last Monday, the 15th, and sent a soil sample off to Waypoint and requested the S3M test. I posted a question about a propy and azoxy spring application for summer patch on my Everest Kentucky bluegrass. Outside of the fertility suggestions that Waypoint sent me, I was wondering if I can get any advice on the rest of the analysis. I'm more than happy to pay for your time. Oh, fuck, Chris. Pay for anything here. Come and pay for a round for the whole gang at Taj about 2:00 in the morning. Louisville. That's it. Man, I would love. I tell you what, you want to do something, Chris. You want to pay us. Find out whatever Ginge's get him there fee is, and bring him to our party. God, would I love that? That would be amazing.
Please,
all right, do we have?
Do.
Do we have a soil test?
He didn't attach anything to his email.
Oh, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris. I was seriously. I was
We were ready. We were ready.
Amount
man.
of swell that I had there was about to rip the stitching on my gym shorts that were sewn in an Indonesian sweatshop. I was just barely able to hold that back, but now completely deflated. Chris, help me. Help you. Please. All right. Let's see here. Minnesota Dan. Oh boy, this is it, Ray. We're gonna have Thanksgiving turkey early in the dinner. All right. So Minnesota Dan, I've seen him hanging around here a little bit. He says, first off, totally understand if you don't have time to answer these questions. Dan, fuck off. We're here. We got time. All right. That being said, if
we'll make time for you.
Southeast Minnesota, beautiful this time of year, by the way. Cool season grass, 16-acre property, of which 2.25 is lawn, non-irrigated. I'm including soil samples for 5 different sections of my 2.25-acre lawn, 3 Waypoint samples, and 2 RX soil samples, all Malik 3, and GIS aerial map of each test area. God, I am all right. Shorts are backing out. Might be a below the belt Hulk Hogan here tonight. Look out, girls. Areas 1, 3, 4, and 5 are Kentucky bluegrass, chewings fescue, ryegrass. Let's see here. Area 2 is what has he got there? 30% perennial rye, 20% Italian rye, 20% tall fescue, 15% bluegrass, and 15% Timothy. Wow. That has to be homemade. I don't think I've ever seen a mix.
Isn't Italian rye from like
is that for horses?
Yeah, I don't know. Timothy, right?
Yeah.
Let's see here. The 800 square foot terrace, 1-inch mowing height. I only manually real mow this area. Grass looks great, he says on area. Area 2, 26 grass looking great. Grass looking great. All right, let's look at these soil tests because his main question is what's the fertilizer plan that you recommend? All pH, also test your higher pH. RX soil test says extremely low sulfur, bad turf area in the south of his driveway, maybe 111 for the backyard. A bit more info. So let's look at the soil test, and I'll fill you with a bit more info.
Which one you want to look at?
Let's look at the bad turf area first. I'm always a bad news first kind of guy. I feel like Matt is. I'm not sure about Ray, but I feel like Matt is always going to be 100% policy. Give me the worst possible news right up front, get it out of the way, and we'll go from there.
My policy
you should mention
is
that, Ryan.
All news is bad news.
all news is bad news. Therefore, lay it on me. Let me know because I hate surprises. But
Matt, actually, the only reason Matt eats a high fiber diet, besides that it's super healthy, is he farts a lot, which keeps that edible in his back pocket nice and roasty toasty. So if he needs to indulge, it's like, oh, here's a warm pot brownie. I need to take the edge off. Please continue to give me news.
I'm one of the ones that has schizophrenic episodes if I partake in them. So I would eat one, and then you would see an episode of Cops where I get tased and then shot and killed. Probably,
Oh.
We'll have to watch a couple.
own fault.
That's an after show to-do list item for tonight. We're gonna have to watch a few taser videos of somebody falling over like a redwood in the fucking forest. All right. Let's see. This is the bad area, yeah?
Yeah, this is the
Mhm.
13,000 square foot bad area.
I know
Horrible
Ray is not
area.
going to like this, but
Needs sulfur.
7.2 pH doesn't scare me, but yeah, that sulfur number is critically low. And if you want to do a little bit of digging on this, Dan, Southeast Minnesota Dan, is I don't know which episode it is. I'll see if we can find it, but Dr. Shaddix has a really good episode in which he was talking about how he actually saw a response from sulfur applications, right? And that was one of the limiting factors in one of his research trials at one point, or possibly it was just like an applied study in his yard or something like that. But interesting and anecdotal stuff there. Anything
Okay.
else that we see here, Ray?
No.
Sure.
And in fact, to make this simple, Minnesota Dan, you are one of those people where overall, I highly recommend that you switch your fertilizer program to ammonium sulfate as your nitrogen source.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm just gonna say it, and there's two reasons why I would go there. Number one is your soil pH. It's not horrible, but then ammonium sulfate can help you with that. The second thing, and the thing that's literally giving me anxiety right now, is the fact that your sulfur is testing as low as it is.
Yeah, that is
You know that-
that is really low.
I mean, because do you know what my vision is of grass that's living on 6 parts per million of sulfur? It's pale, it's chlorotic, it's thin. It does not look like a nice lawn. It looks rather terrible.
It's a
So-
goth
and-
guy without the black trench coat, just in his like Fruit of the Looms. That's it.
Oh, please! That's a horrifying picture, Ryan. That's
Maybe
not
he's
a
still
good-
got
that's
the
not a nice
See, they didn't. Ray is a little too much older than us. He wasn't around for Hot Topic in the mall. He doesn't understand, what it's like. You've
No,
not lived
no,
my
because you
life,
see-
Ray.
No, it's because guys, remember now, I'm over 50. I might look like a little kid, but I'm over 50.
You
look
are
like
Gen
a
X.
little-
So I guess it'd be more kin. It would be like the people who cried listening to Tears for Fears or Cure.
Yeah.
maybe I would throw some Cars in there too. I mean, that has some
Gary
decent
Newman, yeah.
sounds.
So yeah,
Oh,
so ammonium
yeah.
sulfate here. Oh, go ahead, Ray.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
hey,
the other
wait.
thing that I would
Oh, go ahead. I have another one more suggestion, but you go first.
Okay, and then the other idea that I'd tell you is the rest of your nutrient levels are actually not that horrible, because this would be a case where it is probably your sulfur levels that are limiting turfgrass
Mhm.
performance at this point.
You know what else?
Okay,
is
Ryan, what
limiting
were
that turfgrass performance. Because Ron Henry said so. Is we got to get on Golf Course Lawn Academy and get that boron number up. That's scary. It's just it really. We would have whatever product. I'm kidding. This is totally facetious. I'm just
Ryan,
joking.
Yeah,
I
this-
just spent 20 minutes scrubbing the outer layer of my skin off to hear you make the boron joke, and it took me a solid 15 seconds for it to register that it was a joke. And I was like, why in God's green earth is DeMay mentioning boron on this? And then I realized it's a Ron Henry joke.
It's a Ron Henry joke.
It's a Ron Henry.
Getting there, gentlemen. I'm getting there.
No, it's not only a Ron Henry joke, but it is also a Greene County fertilizer joke as well.
It's everybody.
Get your boron up, and
Get your boron right. Make boron great again.
okay.
Make boron
Okay.
great again.
And at the same time, I'm laughing a little about that, Matt, because guess what I use when I don't want something to grow in an area for like forever?
Borax.
Yep, borax is perfect. I mean, and in fact, I'm fond of this one product called monobor chlorate.
Chlorates are always a good time.
Yeah, sodium chlorate plus sodium borate in a handy granule. Just throw and go.
Yeah, when I look at this, the only thing I can think is ammonium sulfate and have fun.
And ammonium sulfate and
Enjoy
chill,
the
right?
response. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the? Let me see here. Bad turf. So that was so J-Ping. Just to confirm, this is the bad turf, right?
Yeah,
That
this
we're
is
looking at?
the
Okay.
in his I mean, he didn't name the files the same way, but in his description where he says 13,000 square feet bad turf, this
Okay.
is the one for that.
That's
This is the one.
And then
Okay.
can we look real quickly at the 4,000 foot or 4,000 square foot along the south of the driveway?
Yeah, that's I just changed it. I don't know if you could tell.
Oh,
This
I
is the
missed it. I'm
4,000
sorry.
square foot
Wow, that was
driveway.
quick.
Yeah, same thing.
Okay.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Yep.
Same thing
More ammonium
because
sulfate.
He made a boron app here, clearly.
Yeah.
If
Might
you
have had a
notice, it's only
boron app, but
0.1 part per million higher, but boy, did the color change.
Wow.
yeah, boy did it change. Well, and you know what? Oh, good news, Matt. His sulfur is 1 point higher. 1 point higher in this section.
This is the section.
Yeah.
It's 4,000 square feet, but that 4 is actually let you know that this is where all the 4-hour erections happen in this lawn. So, all right, Dan, best of luck, sir. Let me run this down just to make sure we got this all covered.
Well, hang on. Did you? I may have jumped in too late. Do the which one is this? I don't know which one this
We've
is.
got
Never mind,
one
listen,
that's
I'm
called
gonna look up.
2024 waypoint 3 soil tests.
Okay.
If I had to guess, this is the area that looks good, and you'll notice that sulfur is at 12 parts per million, and
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Good call.
I would say that's why.
It's just above minimum. I mean, if this were a test grade, Matt, you know what I call this? This is like the D. This is like the D. You haven't quite failed, but you're getting there.
This is from his 800 square foot terrace area here on the map.
So that area and the rest of them are good looking compared to according to him. But again, literally the only difference we see here is effectively nothing other than sulfate being higher. So fairly easy to deduce that higher sulfate correlates with better performing turf grass in your property here. Minnesota.
Yeah.
Is it Minnesota Dan or is this Minnesota Steve?
Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah.
Dan.
And I'm also going to tell you one more bit of advice. On this cool season turf, do not chase your phosphorus or potassium levels. Worry about your sulfur right now.
Especially in Minnesota.
I don't want to
use this
knock some, but here's so I had to take it off the screen for a second. But here is the backyard, 26,000 square feet.
So we're at 10.
Yeah, 10, but then
just crossing over into that critical level.
Yeah, barely pass, right? That barely pass. I mean, and you know what? His fertilizer program can be super simple where man just needs a pallet of AMS. Agreed?
Yeah, that's it. Should turn out fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so overall. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna move to Telly's.
Yeah, go to Telly's.
Much more. All right. Telly said peach trees at his mom's. Looking for an insecticide to spray on them, and do I really got to spray them every week? It depends on what you have. If you've got borers or something, dinotefron, you can do a drench and an imidacloprid drench, or just an imidacloprid drench. That would be one way to do it. However, if you plan on eating the peaches, I would look at when it is safe to consume. After that, each of those are going to be totally different. I would probably stay away from like imamectin benzoate, which is something that you could do that would provide lasting control. However, I don't think you would ever be able to eat peaches if the tree was treated imamectin benzoate. Is that true, or did I make that up, Ray? I can't remember. It's been a long time.
Okay. Here's the funny thing is that imamectin benzoate is registered as a spray on many fruit, vegetable, and field crops.
I was wrong.
Okay, hang on though. However, the amount applied per acre on those field crops is way lower than what you're shooting into the trunk of that tree. However,
Yeah.
here's the thing about backyard fruit trees. I'm familiar with the extension service recommendations for backyard fruit trees. And this is going to be a funny one, Matt, because you're going to think, how the hell and why the hell does they allow this on fruits and vegetables, yet you can't do this on a lawn? Because, okay, here's one that I told Telly. Carbaryl, malathion.
Good old 7 and malathion too.
Okay, and a lot of the recommendations call for a tank mix of 7 plus malathion plus your fungicide as your every 14 to 21 day application on the fruit tree.
If I recall correctly, his mom lives out of state, so he's looking for something that he does not have to have a tight reapplication interval on, and that's why I was going the ivermectin benzoate. Although at those minute rates, I don't know if what residual you're going to get out of it. With imidacloprid, obviously you're going to get some time out of that too.
And the other thing that may become a factor on a fruit tree, if you happen to get like spider mite or blister mite, is abamectin.
Yep.
Because did you know that abamectin is widely used on fruit trees?
I did know abamectin was used. That is actually one of the ones that you see in the inject into the trunk thing too.
Well, but on
Is that
fruit
how we
trees,
solved COVID?
oh
No, I'm thinking of
there's
something
stream.
different. Never mind.
And strike.
oh boy, but seriously,
And
on
Telly said the
like
same
fruit
thing.
trees, on fruit trees, abamectin is used at like I think 16 ounces per acre, 8 to 16 per acre. That's the normal use rate. So, yeah, that's another option. But here's what I'm going to tell you about abamectin: do not overuse that. Do not. And the reason why you don't overuse it is because if you overuse it, you then create a population of mites that is totally resistant to it. And then you're screwed.
I was gonna say, especially for peach trees, you can do like insecticidal soap or something. But again, you're literally going to be out there every 7 days. Shit, maybe every other day, depending on your level of issues and rainfall and all that fun stuff. So again, if residual is your concern, ivermectin benzoate, imidacloprid are in your wheelhouse. If you need an immediate knockdown for borers or something down at Teflon. Monkey's Lawn Care and Gardening DIY said, does anyone know how much Milorganite apply in Florida? Just kidding. Dr. Shaddix is a savage. I got baited on that one. Usually I'm I'm off my A game, Monkeys. You got me on that one. What was the Ice Bank Mice Elf? I got on that one too back in the day. Midnight Monoculture said, thoughts. Oh, this is a good one. Thoughts on Provista Kentucky Bluegrass. Will this be the future of turf genetic engineering used in golf courses and stadiums? DeMay,
No.
have you ever heard of Provista?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Do I think it'll be the future of breeding? It can be. I mean, so the real quick and dirty is that by adding the ability for the plant to resist glyphosate injury, is that when you breed plants, right? So when you have a true cross between two plants, if that gene from the Roundup resistance is in there, and then you go out 30 days or 21 days after you've established from seed, and you spray over these selections in the greenhouse, you can find which ones are true crosses, and you can separate, right? Whereas in traditional breeding, you have to do that first in the greenhouse, and then you have to do it in the field, and then you have to kind of whittle down, and that process takes a lot longer, right? It's like a 2 or 3 year cycle versus something that the Provista folks are able to do in like 9 months, something like that. Okay. So from a plant breeding perspective, it's a really, really cool process. The question is like, how many different um, levels of genes and express genes are you actually going to put into a plant? And from a practical standpoint, with what we've seen from Provista, it's been, there are some benefits to it, right? So, for example, the shade tolerance on Provista is exceptionally good, even across all cool season grasses, not just in Kentucky bluegrass, right? So, like, we measure light requirements for grass, we measure them in what's called DLI, or daily light interval, which is the amount of photosynthetic active radiation that a plant needs to take in to live, right, over the course of a day. So, um, in that sense, it does do really, really well in shade. From a disease risk profile, summer patch, necrotic ring spot, all that, like,
Mhm.
they're about equal, right? Like, there's not a whole lot different. The mowing, there is a reduction of mowing for sure. Anecdotally,
However,
so
Ryan,
what's that?
however,
Yes.
Provista does better with lower mowing versus higher mowing, and I have good word from one of our Discord members that in order for it to be at its best, it actually needs to be mowed low, because if you don't mow it low, it has a special issue that I will
Yeah,
let you
so
talk about.
the seed head production on it is prolific. I mean, it looks like it's damn near snowed with seed heads. That being said, you can lower the height of cut at that time, May, June time, and effectively chop those off, and it does fine. I think from a recuperative potential standpoint, so, where we've seen it used, some of the earlier earlier progeny of it, it did not recover quite as quickly as what we'd like to see on a sports field. So I don't know if that's the application for it. Uh, I think I could see it working out well on golf courses. I know golf courses that are here in Ohio, they're using it in certain specific applications um, in order to keep it clean. And that's one of the true beauty parts of it, right? If I was in a sports field setting and it actually grew faster, it'd be great, because POA, any other type of difficult to control grassy weeds, anything like that, I could wipe the slate clean and it'll do
Mhm.
fine. So I think it's another tool to use in the tool belt. We've come really close to using it on a couple projects and just haven't, for a variety of reasons. But I've kept a really close eye on the testing, everything that's gone on here, and feel like at some point there'll be something to use it on. I just don't think it'll be in a sports field setting. So take it for what it's worth. It's also very expensive too to buy from seed. It's still around, if I recall correctly from the most recent time I asked, in the $35 a pound range, something like that. So, and
And not,
same
and
seeding
not
rates
only
as a
that,
typical bluegrass.
Ryan, I also have word that seed is not sold to consumers; it is only sold to sod growers.
Well, no, they're selling seed now.
Are they? Are
Yep,
they? I mean,
yep.
but here's the
As of this year.
unfortunate thing. Here's the unfortunate thing about Provista KBG is that the glyphosate is leaving the residential weed control market.
Mm. Yeah, that's true too.
Okay.
That's true.
So,
Okay.
hmm
And I need to kind of put this out to our listeners, because I was made aware of a quote unquote Roundup branded product that did not contain glyphosate. Instead, it contained herbicides that were much worse than glyphosate in terms of hazard, because I caught sight of a bottle of quote unquote Roundup that contained diquat, triclopyr, and fluazepop.
Yep, saw that too.
yeah, somebody
And
will
trust me,
will make that mistake.
I was going to say that any day of the week, I would much rather apply glyphosate than that three combination. And it is, I mean, again, I am not the beacon of health or good decisions with pesticides or life in general. So, yeah, I mean, Roundup the brand will carry on. However, glyphosate is going to go bye bye, and at least in the consumer market. And boy, yeah, have fun applying shitloads of flazophop and diquat on your Kentucky bluegrass that you paid $25 a pound for, $35 a pound. Yowza. B Butcher said, "Do I need to water 1.3 inches over the next week?" No, B Butcher. We have had plenty of rain. What I don't know where this is coming from. Let me look at our weather forecast too.
Well, here I'm gonna do this real quick too. I can.
Are you gonna throw up the ET?
Yeah, but it won't load here. Sons of bitches. Didn't you? Nope, that won't do it.
They are calling for rain on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
They are calling for rain on the following Monday and the following Wednesday. What you got, Demay?
Here we go. I'm gonna do this. J-Pink, you have to do a little manipulating here for me. J-Pink. Click that, and then when
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's gonna rain.
It's gonna rain. In that second drop down right there, go ahead and click the maximum temperature. Slide all the way down. You'll see I think it's daily, and then there's a weekly. Yeah, total weekly field reference ET, the third choice down there. Thank you. And then slide your way into to Tennessee. So this is giving you total ET for a week forecast, right? So assuming that we're only going to water at this time of year, probably like 60% of this, be able to get away with it, maybe even 50%. I think B Butcher, that should be your target if you're really trying to estimate yourself out. So take this, the NOAA National Weather Service, and slide yourself down to, you can look at daily or you can look at weekly. And it's a good way to kind of approach watering, if you will. So
yeah, I'll be curious to see how much rain we get on Tuesday too. Woody said Ray is beef. I don't know why it's funny, but it's funny. Super TA said,
I was just gonna say real quick, Brian Morales that this is what he saw instead of glyphosate, Roundup glyphosate.
Yeah, that's exactly what's
holy crap. I mean, are we
really
getting...
I got one with a Mazapic in it, Ray.
Yeah,
I got one with all these plus a Mazapic in it.
Yay! Because do you know what a Mazapic is, Ryan?
Oh yeah.
Do you know? You know, because anything with imaz in front of its chemical name,
imidazolone.
Yeah.
Super TA said, "How about using citric acid in your hydro feeder?" Is that when you're talking about a hydro feeder? Are you talking about an injector, like irrigation?
Oh yeah,
injector?
we were talking about. Well, the first question while you were doing your PDA shower was about injecting acids to treat water, 8 plus pH water for irrigation purposes.
We were talking about the requirements for putting a chemical injector onto an irrigation system, and
talking about injecting women.
That too.
That too. Haniston Mon said, "A colleague of mine at work watched a YouTube video and decided it was a good idea to get rid of his weeds with a blanket spray of Prosecutor Pro, also known as glyphosate." Yeah, man, it happens. It happens a lot. So when I was in lawn care, I would say I probably got, in corporate lawn care where I got a lot of phone calls, I would probably get, I don't know, 15 to 20 a year where that happened. Like in my route where I covered. So, company wide, that it may be like 200 calls a year about that. Self-employed, smaller outfit, probably about the same number. I would say 10 to 20 a year. Even some real crazy ones where people are spreading, like Scott's Bonus S with atrazine on fully greened up Bermuda, 3-4 times back to make sure they got all the dandelions killed and shit, and just absolutely smoked Bermuda. So, I am not surprised, Aniston.
I saw bad ones too, and my two bad ones were, guess the carnage that occurred when Scott's decided to take out atrazine and replace it with metsulfuron methyl in their bonus S.
Yeah, it was a big lawsuit.
Okay, that was one. And imagine what happened when Ortho decided to use the horsepower formulation in Weed Be Gone, and people here in Hawaii were applying that to their warm season turf.
I bet that was a colorful display too. Everyone would have been like, "Is it Pride Month in Hawaii?" No, they put horsepower in Weed Be Gone.
No, it was worse than that because
rainbows.
I saw lawns where anybody that sprayed that formula of Weed Be Gone on their turf, they came back to dirt 2 weeks later. You don't put triclopyr on Bermuda or Seashore paspalum. I'll tell you that much. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Steve C said, chemical dispenser backflow devices. Backflow devices for chemical dispenser shall comply with ASSE 1055 or shall be equipped with an air gap fitting from the 2018 North Carolina Plumbing Code. That's where his office is based. So a little more details on that. Gardner Earth Guy said, I'm over 50 and picked up a couple girls at Hot Topic during the 80s. I knowing what I know of Richard, I would say he was I could see him singing The Cure and maybe playing a couple tunes on the acoustic to make that happen. I am not surprised, sir. How about that? I am not surprised in the slightest. Brent said, not only can we get lawns great with borax, but we can also make clothes great again. Colonel Corn said, I'm here for the chemical names that Ray spits out like it's made up, but they're 100% accurate. Man is a legend, Ray. Gardner Earth Guy said, didn't Minnesota have steel mills? I don't know.
They mine iron ore up there. They mine iron ore up there, but all got shipped down to.
Did you hear the Minnesota
the lower part of the Great Lakes? Chicago, Detroit, Ohio, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much Midwest coming out of DeMay right there. Iron ore up there.
Hey, I like. Hey, where I'm from.
Look, there's no doubt about it. We have two Midwest as fuck people on this. One behind the scenes and one in front of the camera. That is for sure. T1 up for me. Every time I see this guy's name, I laugh. I love it. Thoughts on flumioxazin on warm season turf types? Only dormant Bermuda, like real dormant Bermuda, because if it isn't dormant, boy, you're going to make it dormant with flumioxazin.
Yeah.
No other warm season grass should you put that on.
You can do that on zoysia. You can do that on
zoysia. Boy, I don't have the balls. That is for sure.
No, you can. And the reason why you can is because think of flumioxazin as being no worse than Ronstar on steroids. Same mode of action.
Yep, not have the balls to put that on zoysia. I have oranged enough lawns, fields with Brian's. I said lawns. I haven't spread just a monumental amount of Ronstar across my career, maybe a pallet, and I have discolored enough grass with Ronstar to be very wary of it. So the thought of Ronstar on steroids on zoysia grass it makes me nervous. How about that?
Okay, but if you do that during its period of dormancy, no worries. Just don't do it on emerged or non-dormant grass because, guys, flumioxazin is what makes Shore Power. And I remember Ryan and I having a deep dive.
Right.
Yeah, but Ryan and I had a deep dive on how to safely apply Shore Power to cool season grass and not fry the hell out of it. We had a long, deep dive about it, and this was back in, I believe, 2021.
Yes.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, but flumioxazin otherwise is a potent contact herbicide because these days, flumioxazin is my go-to for weed control in ornamental beds and mulch areas. I love my Sureguard and Daiquat in those areas. And by the way, that is like a good tank mix for dormant season weed control in Bermuda and Zoysia. Daiquat plus flumioxazin. So take that for what it's worth.
The next one here is Colonel Corn said, I have a soil test from my neighbor I'd love some feedback on. Seems like the front yard is a bit more difficult to grow turf in compared to the backyard. His home faces north, maple trees in the front, arborvitae that are gigantic in front of the house, but the huge silver maple in the backyard. The top of the picture gives him an oasis. The lot next to his is the backyard. Yeah, I would say with that maple in the backyard, it is going to be difficult to grow grass back there. But let's take a look at the soil test. Hey, look what we have here. We have another one with terribly low sulfur.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. We've got two properties back to back. So Colonel Corn, Big Mark, the same recommendations we gave earlier would exactly apply here. And that recommendation would be get you a pallet of ammonium. Well, you don't need probably a bag of ammonium sulfate.
Yeah, a bag or two.
Yeah, and you're good to go. Y'all see anything else on that?
No. I mean, his soil is beautiful soil, except for how sulfur deficient it is. My goodness. 8. That's low. I mean, and I'm not worried about his P. I'm not worried about his K, but this sulfur is too low to grow nice grass.
Super TA said he disagrees about Provista being slower growing. He says his grows the same as my Blue Bank. I don't know jack about growing Kentucky bluegrass, so I couldn't tell you what a fast grower or slow grower is.
If it's well fertilized, it could be growing. So, hey, I'm not there on his lawn, so
yeah, I mean, if you feed it well, it is going to be faster growing.
What do you recommend?
PGF complete.
What do you recommend for grubs in Bermuda real mode at a 1/2 inch? The same thing I'd recommend for Bermuda rotary mode at 14.5 inches.
It's actually a flail mower.
Yeah. By the way, am I the only one that absolutely loves the look of a flail mower cut? Maybe it's just the contrast of how it looks compared to, but man, they cut awesome.
No, they don't. Matt. Okay, because I know when somebody bullshitted and used a flail mower instead of a real mower. I can tell.
Yeah, I'd say if you're trying to take it to a 1/2 inch. But man, a field that's been flail mode, it does look. We never did give a recommendation for grubs. Tetrino, Acelyprin, Grubex. Yeah.
Grubex.
Any of the Trenoprils would be your best option.
Yeah, the modern grub controls. I mean, that's Acelyprin all the way, and if you get your rate right, you can literally have 2 years of grub control out of Acelyprin.
Damn. Yeah. Telly Coleman said, will the cicadas eat my grass? Yes. 100%. They're going to eat it down to the ground. You will have no grass left, and it will not regrow either. That is the caveat. They will eat all the roots and rhizomes of and stolons of your Bermuda grass, and it will be the one time in history something has completely killed Bermuda. Just kidding, Telly. Cicadas are not. Jesus, J Pink has got some jokes in the chat.
Oh man! Damn,
I was gonna say, Telly, call the police and have the
spicy.
police take care of it. I was actually don't call the police, Telly. We know what happens in your neighborhood when you call the police. Okay,
White guys put their lawn pictures in their calendars. That's what happens. Cultural appropriation.
Jay Frank with another one. At least I didn't try to get Telly choked.
No.
If you did not catch our episode that was released earlier this week, I guess that was actually this morning. Check it out. Is our burn and return episode. Pesticides are racist. We have an extended Joe Knows Turf segment in that is actually quality. DeMay sent me into a rocking fit there for a moment.
I didn't notice that till today.
Yeah, it took me a minute to recover from that too, because I was really trying to internalize it there, and it was no good. If you want to hang out with us, because we're going to continue our show, but we're going to continue our show offline. It's easy to do. You can go to patreon.com/burn and return, and you can come hang out where we're going to keep this show going. However, the show we're going to keep going is going to be a bit more. It's going to be Joe Knows Turf, as Ray would say, on steroids. In fact, it's not just going to be steroids. This is going to be the oxyacetylene torch of Joe Knows Turf, is what we're going to be doing next. So, by all means, Will Nye the Turfgrass. What's up, Big Will? How are you? He said, "I heard cicadas real most centipede." I like that. And go check out Will Nye the Turfgrass guy on TikTok. There are 2 reasons to watch TikTok. 3. I'll give you 3. If your wife does TikTok, support her. You check out Big Som Energy, SOMME, Big Som Energy, a sommelier and a good show friend of ours who does energy drink tastings in one of the most creative ways I've ever seen. And then go watch Bill Nye the Turfgrass guy, because it's one of those that he actually makes turfgrass management look cool, which is really, really hard to do. Anyway, I digress. I don't know why I just got moved to say that. We're headed out. We're going to go keep the show going. If you want to check it out, patreon.com/burn and return. Other than that, we'll catch y'all on the flip side. We'll see you on Sunday, where we're going to do our live recording. If you're a patron member, if you're not a patron member, then sorry.
Get fucked.
That's absurd. Yeah, I think that covered all our bases. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you. But